Hello ladies, this is Breanna from HowToBlackHair.com, and of course I'm coming at you today with another bomb and beautiful braided hair tutorial. And this style is called Individual Crochet Box Braids, so that means you will not need to cornrow braid your hair to achieve this look. These are the materials that you are going to need to create this beautiful style. If you want links to these products, be sure to check it out in the description of this video. I have 2 braids left, and I'm going to show you on this section how to create those braids. This is about the size of braiding hair you will need, as well as a CD holding tray. So if some of you don't know what a CD even is, don't worry, just use a CD tray to create these braids. So now you're going to divide the hair in half, and this is about the section size you're going to use for both braids. Begin Senegalese twisting the hair in preparation for this box braid. Now you're going to put it around the CD holder tray and make sure that you pinch off 1/3 of the hair from both sides of your section so that you're creating 3 legs for your box braid. Now to continue braiding, the best way I can explain this is to always grab a leg from the middle and put it to the left, and then grab a leg from the middle again and put it to the right, and keep alternating this back and forth to create your braid. Also, for this tapered look at the ends, you have to pull on the ends of your braiding hair to create this effect. So as you can see, this is how your braid should look once you finish, and when I pull it off, you can tell that the top stays intact, but it's not too tight. Now that you know how to braid an individual box braid, it's time to begin finishing the rest of our hair. Originally, I had box parts that I decided to turn into triangle parts. Before you begin braiding, it's important that you thoroughly detangle your section of hair so that your braids are smooth. And also, when you're braiding your individual braid with your real hair, you do not need to add any braiding hair to it whatsoever. What I really like about this style is it is extremely beginner friendly, meaning that even if you don't know how to do a traditional box braid, you don't have to. All you have to do is braid your hair and loop it through your braid. So this is helpful for those of you who have a hard time gripping the hair very close to your roots, as you should do with a classic box braid. And also, if I didn't mention it yet, I actually use 9 packages of Connect-A-Lawn braiding hair, and for each pack I created about 8 braids, so I have a total of anywhere between 70 to 74 braids on my head in total when the style is finished. To avoid frizzy braids, I highly suggest that you put edge control on the very ends. Now, if you have very layered hair, I suggest that you put a little bit of edge control along the entire length of the braid. So now it's time to crochet our box braids, ladies. So because I'm using such a small crochet hook, I'm always grabbing the very ends of the braid as I pull it through. So as you can see here, you want to make sure that you're gently pulling it underneath your individual braid. Now, once you put it through the beginning of your box braid, you're going to loop the tail end, close your hook, and then pull it back through. So this might take you a little bit of practice if you've never crocheted before, but if you've done a traditional crochet hairstyle, this will come very easy to you. So you just make sure that it's tight and snug up to the roots of your hair, and then in order to loop your real braid through the box braid, always go through the center of the braid. So you're not looping it around the outside perimeter of the braid, you're always just inserting the loop directly through the center. So just make sure that you're pulling it through both sides of the braid, alternating back and forth so that the braid is very seamless. So always insert the hook through the middle of the braid and then pull the leg back out through one side and keep alternating back and forth. This style is so easy and convenient to do, and this is a style that's always ready to go. So what I mean by that is that when it's time for you to rebraid your hair and wash your hair and things like that, all you have to do is unravel the braid from your individual braid that you braided on your head, and then you can wash the hair and condition it and allow it to air dry, and these braids are ready to go for another install. So we're almost done, but you have to make sure that you loop the last remaining bits of your real hair all the way through the braid, so that way it's very smooth and seamless with no frizz. So as you can see with my technique, your braid literally disappears. So now it's time to detail these edges. So what we're gonna do is turn this side into this side. So now in order to detail your edges, what I suggest that you use is some edge control. And the edge control I'm using is by the ORS brand, and I believe it's called Tahitian Edge Control. So remember, if you want to see the products that I'm using, be sure to check out the description for links to those particular products. Now at this point, you see me using a small tooth comb to detail how I want my edges to look. Now at this point, it's so many ways to lay down your edges. Some people like using a toothbrush. Some people like using a hairbrush. In most cases, I prefer to use a small tooth comb because I like the effect that it gives with my hair. So you can add as much or as little product as you want in order to lay down your edges. So as you can see, just adding a little bit of edge control on your edges can make a style go from beautiful to literally flawless. You can be as creative as you want to be to accentuate your hairstyle. So now I just wanted to take the time to show you how my braid pattern actually looks, as well as how the crocheted braids look on the roots of my hair. As you can see, this style looks extremely realistic and natural. And once again, I believe I have about 70 to 74 braids on my head. And now this is how the style looks, ladies, but of course we're not finished yet. I'm just showing you a quick spin around right before we begin adding curls. Now what I like to use is cold wave rod rollers to create curls on any of my braids. And the reason why I like these is because they're not soft, they're plastic, so that way it won't hold water and burn or irritate your fingers. So you're just gonna roll the braids up very flatly on a rod, and then you're gonna close the rod. So now, of course, you just dip it into hot water and you kind of sit it there and move it around for a couple of seconds to release the air bubbles so that the hair is fully saturated. Make sure you thoroughly dry off your hair by just squeezing it into a hand towel or a dry towel before you begin removing the rod from your braids. Now, when you're removing it, you just unwind it, and then you're gonna run your fingers through your box braids and use your scissors to clean up any frizzy ends or any pieces that seem to stick out. Now, in order to create this tapered look with your braids so that way you can actually braid to the tips, you always want to taper the braiding hair out before you braid your hair so you can create this beautiful look. And voila, ladies, our beautiful crochet box braids is completely finished. And must I remind you that we did not have to cornrow for this look. So leave your video request in the comments and make sure to subscribe for more beautiful hair tutorials like this.